A movie performed with all the grandeur and enthusiasm of a theme park stunt show. We saw Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, so you know what that means.
Remake! How did Schwarzenegger grow a baby in his belly? Rock a rhinestone vest while ripping Justin to Kelly? Or maybe see a burlesque show with Nick Crow and take a boat with speed to hitting cruise control. J-Man, Big Paul in the beautiful June. Gonna take you from the Goob all the way to the room. Ran the games of Street Fighter, helped to blow off steam. Just a sucker punch the odd life of Timothy Green. Sharknado, the birdemic, how we staying alive. They call it in the badass and he's on the line. Cranking 88 minutes cause they cool as ice. Cause a bad Jim Varney looking kind and nice. Paul and June getting literal, Jason is getting laid. June is making sure all the monkey shots getting paid. They judge a bunch of movies while they making the grade. Here's a real question for you, how did this get made?
Hello, people of Earth, and hello, people of New York City! Thank you, we are here live at Town Hall in the heart of New York City, just steps away from the Daily Planet, where Clark Kent works and Superman flies overhead, and we have a doozy of a movie to talk about tonight. Wow. But I cannot do it alone. Tonight, I'd like to do this with my co-host, always with my co-host, really, Jason Mantzoukas!
What's up, jerks? All right, here we go. New York City.
Electric crowd.
Great looking crowd, Paul. Great looking crowd.
This is not a bunch of people who read the Warfield publications, I tell you that much. These are real New Yorkers.
I was just in the Starbucks getting a coffee.
Yeah.
I believe every single person in the Starbucks was on their way to the show. A lot of people wanted to talk to me about the show. And I gave them my classic, don't you fucking talk to me! I talk to you through your ears!
It's what makes
Not
you...
in person!
It makes you approachable, though. It's a...
Yeah. Spoiler alert, I got kicked out of that Starbucks.
Because you said it to the barista who was simply asking for your order.
By the way, he was a big fan.
Jason, I'll have you know, this is the first movie I ever walked out of. Or, I should say, almost walked out of. As a child, I was a huge Superman fan.
You just said, this is the first movie I walked out of, and then you said, wait, this is the first movie I almost walked out of.
Well, that's...
So in fact,
I'm lying.
Did not watch this movie.
I watched it for this.
You did not walk out. Yes.
No, for this I watched it. But as a child, I saw it in an empty theater with a friend. I was like, oh, you're gonna love it. Superman is the best. It's so good. And like 20 minutes in, I was like,
How old are you? What year is this?
It is...
Somebody tell us.
87.
You fucks.
So I'm like...
Think of all the things you could be remembering in life.
I'm like 9 years old.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm seeing this movie for, I'm so excited. And then I'm like, it sucks. And I'm like, should we leave? But it was also so exciting to see a movie that we just walked to the back of the theater and like hung out by the door.
Oh,
and
so
then
you watched it in a worse fashion.
And then we were like,
I hate this so much, I want it to be harder to watch.
But then we're like, well, let's just pretend we're Superman, and we would just run up and down the aisle pretending to fly and ignoring the movie. So
I would, if I was in a movie and I was on the aisle and there was a kid, I would straight up clothesline that kid.
The side note was the theater was completely empty.
Okay.
We were the only two people with paying tickets. I respect the space.
So then why did you go to the back?
Because they were like, should we leave? And we just hung out by the door like, we'll go.
There is a
here.
movie we have not done that we should probably do, which is, I believe, the only movie I walked out of.
Yes.
Which I walked out of with my entire family. Because I'm going to guess similar age-ish,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. And it is the Hercules movie that Lou Ferrigno stars in. Wherein at one point he picks up a bear, he throws the bear into outer space, and the bear becomes the constellation of stars Ursa Major.
But, and correct me if I'm wrong.
That's in a movie.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though. That was done all practically. That was a real bear.
Right? And it was, to be fair, a documentary.
Well, Jason,
Paul!
we have a very special guest filling in tonight for this How Did This Get Made All-Star.
Has this been announced?
No.
Oh.
No one knows who it is until right now.
Before we do that, I just want to say, what's up, balcony? You guys get it. You guys get it. You waited the longest to get tickets and you're wasted already.
Tonight, we have a very special guest. She made her first appearance on the show in a little movie called Pluto Nash. Please welcome Jessica St. Clair! Welcome.
Wow.
Welcome.
Yeah.
This is great.
Jessica, we have kidnapped you to come with us on our little How Did This Get Made tour and forced you to watch these movies. First thoughts out of the gate for Superman 4, Quest for Peace.
Made me feel sick.
I also am curious, how hard was it for you to figure out how to watch these movies?
So hard.
I did
In
try to
fact-
be very specific about making sure you had every way to find these.
And
Yeah,
I still
even
didn't.
still.
I was on the plane and I was like, oh God, no. Streaming. And then I was like, I don't have the right headphones. And then I thought to myself, I'm gonna have to play it out loud. And I was prepared to.
Wait, you don't have the right headphones?
What do you mean,
I
the
had
right
to purchase
headphones?
them. I had to purchase them from Virgin America. It was tough stuff. So actually, to be honest, one
What
of them
are
were
the wrong
broken. So I
headphones?
listened. I had to go like this, so I could only listen with one ear. That was enough, though.
So you cocked your head over an iPad or a laptop?
Yes.
So you couldn't be watching the screen.
Yeah. I was watching it, half watching it. I got it.
You
I
can
got
always
the
put
gist.
on subtitles.
I got the gist.
Got the gist. All right, great.
I thought that those guys were gonna show up. Which movie did the guys in the pleather suits from outer space
Superman
show up?
2.
Oh, thank God it wasn't that one, because that one really made me feel sick.
What?
Okay,
That's the best one.
That movie
It is
is
the worst.
fantastic
That's one of the best
worst.
ones.
compared to this movie.
I disagree. This one had kind of the charm of like a When Harry Met Sally. What?
As you can tell, our choice of substitute guest is perfect. Ladies and gentlemen,
I think it's, and I would like to give the audience license if St. Clair does it to June her.
Go ahead.
I think that's appropriate. You should feel free to indulge in it.
Guess what? June got my hair cut. Took a picture of it, went and got it.
let's also bring out our very special guest tonight. She is fantastically funny, amazingly talented. You've seen her on Orange is the New Black. She has a short film that she wrote and directed called Kabiria Charity Chastity, which is on YouTube. And Kenzo, please welcome Natasha Lyonne.
All right.
Yeah.
That's my hand.
Now it's gonna stay
Welcome.
there the whole time.
Welcome, Natasha.
Thank you.
Now, right out of the gate for you as well, your first experience. Is this your first Superman movie that you've seen?
I don't think so. I don't care. I want to say
Okay, sure.
as like just a vague opener.
But were you
so-
familiar with Superman as a concept?
I know Superman exists for sure. For sure.
In fiction. Or
All
are you
over the
saying
place.
right now
No.
you know Superman exists for real
No, like
and you are telling
all
us?
over the place. Superman is always everywhere.
Yeah?
So everybody knows Superman. For sure. That's
Yeah, everyone knows Superman. You got it.
Everybody-
But like not my bag, so
Right, it's not like you're not going to seek out. You would never watch this movie.
no.
Okay.
But maybe have seen it.
Right.
But don't care.
Maybe,
You know what I
maybe
mean?
it was on in the background like one day while you were home
Well,
from school.
I was a kid.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All these
Okay.
things check out.
This does settle a huge
Yeah.
internet conspiracy.
Yeah.
Whether or not you were
You
a child.
were a kid,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, big time.
Because a lot of people on Reddit are
Yeah.
saying that you arrived
Fully
as a
formed.
36-year-old woman.
Yeah.
And there are pictures of you full size as a baby,
Yes.
which people are confused with.
Yes,
Very
and that's on me. But no, I was, Gremlins,
Yeah, these are all
etc.
movies.
Right? Yeah, I know
So,
this.
did you enjoy your experience with Superman 4: The Quest for Peace? All right. That's, by the way, that sums up this movie.
Yes.
It's such a cash grab. Just to put some context on it, the Salkinds, who made the first 3 movies, were like, this thing ran out of money. So they sold it to these other people, the Canon Film Company, who've made some,
Yeah.
some classic films in our.
I didn't realize that.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
So they kind of like, we'll milk this cash cow, but right out of the gate, the movie was budgeted for like about $40 million, and then a week before it started, they cut it down to $16 million.
Ooh.
So,
Whoa. Who got that secret money? Like, where'd the extra go?
well, there's a lot of suspect stuff at the Canon Company. Yeah, there's a lot. Like, I would say that everything in Lex Luthor's apartment was like from one of those guys' house. Like, it's yeah. We'll just
Or
put
it
that
was
in there.
I would bet a lot of it is from other canon movies that they just had in
Yeah.
storage.
Yeah, because nothing makes sense in Lex Luthor's
By
apartment.
the
So
way,
are you-
Hackman comes out smelling like roses.
Who does?
Jane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that they did not blow holes in the Great Wall of China in this movie?
By the way, there are no Asian people on that wall.
Yeah.
I rewound it.
I rewound it too.
Because then I thought, maybe this isn't the Great Wall. Maybe this is a wall in England that I'm not aware of.
So
Hadrian's Wall or something.
The Great Wall
All
of
it.
Brighton.
Of Brighton. I literally, because there's not one Asian to be seen.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could maybe argue that like not a lot of Asian people go to the Great Wall because they live there. And
That's
that-
how.
I went on this mental journey as well. But you got to imagine that somebody's grandmother's coming to visit,
Oh, this
and they're
created
saying,
quite a
"Hey,
narrative.
let's go see the Great Wall." You
There
haven't
should
seen
be
it
a
in a while.
tour guide of
Yeah.
Asian descent, you would think.
Yeah.
I had an issue with the Great Wall scene simply because I couldn't discern what power Superman was using
Yes.
to
Put it back
rebuild
up.
the wall. It was a nuclear man, and we'll get into the plot. The plot, I mean, it's a loose assemblage of scenes,
Paul?
this movie.
I hate to say it, but it was very obviously Masonry vision. One of Superman's lesser known powers is that he can look at masonry and put it back together. The grout work is flawless.
Can I ask a question, Paul? You seem to be a Superman expert.
Yeah, sure. Professionally, yes.
It seems that all he does is catches things and moves them. Does he have any other things he can do?
He also blows on
Cold air.
Whoa.
Hey,
Whoa, Paul.
too soon.
He
He can blow cold air, he can move
fly.
things,
He
and
has
he can
amazing
fly.
He has
strength.
heat vision.
Heat
He
vision.
catches great.
He catches great.
Like women in the middle, floating women.
Yeah.
By the way,
In the air, boom, he's there.
I have to say, I was pretty amazed to see that this movie, or I guess Gravity, ripped off this movie pretty badly. The first
Yeah.
sequence of this movie was straight up Gravity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I'm just saying, look, I'm not one to point a finger, but I think they stole it from
Yeah.
this movie.
Yeah.
I think a lot of movies stole directly from this movie.
Oh, yeah.
The Great Wall with Matt Damon. Also, a movie with all white dudes on the Great Wall. I'm starting to think we've been misled, and China is full of white people.
Just to hit back that Great Wall thing. So apparently that was going to be a very big section of the movie, that Nuclear Man destroys the Great Wall of China.
Is that what he's
That's
called?
his name? Or are you calling him that?
That's his name.
Nuclear
Okay.
Man?
Yes.
Is it ever
Well,
said?
that shouldn't be a shock to you.
That's the
Like Lex
worst.
Luthor does say it. Okay,
He does?
He
Because
goes,
I
"Hey,
missed
what's
him say it too, and I kept being like, who is this?
And what's up with those Lee press-on nails?
Whoa.
Yeah, those
What's
press-on
up with
nails?
that?
Nothing's more scarier than like a delicate nail.
Like a gel. It's
But
like a gel I got
can-
done recently.
That was the moment where I felt like I checked out from like kitsch, you know, of like, oh, it's charming. Look at all this CGI cutout, whatever. To now
was
I
great.
don't want to play anymore because.
By the way,
Do you know what I mean?
thank you for lasting that long.
Yeah, because I was like, with the fake nails, I was like, this is now nobody
Yeah,
on the
they-
movie. Nobody
Like-
cares
hand.
about the work they're doing.
That's a woman's hand.
Yeah.
This is,
And here's poor
And-
Margot Kidder giving it everything she's got.
and by the way, his nail beds are terrible.
I mean,
Well, there is nothing more scary to me than that guy in the Guinness
Can you
World Book
freeze?
of... Yes.
Can you freeze? Oh, shit.
No.
Can you back up?
I'll back it up.
Do you think he's like, wait, are those my nails?
Yeah. Like they had
You
the budget
created me?
originally for like claws.
You
or
created
something.
me, and I've got
to cut it back.
Lee press-on nails?
I have so many issues with Nuclear Man, ultimately, because a majority, clearly they ran out of money, and they're like, let's just do a fight scene on the moon. But we've been told that Nuclear Man's power is from the sun.
Right.
So anytime he leaves the atmosphere of Earth, he's in darkness. He should be totally...
No, only if he's on the dark side of the moon. Because the sun is still...
Okay,
Good
so
reference.
that sun is still getting him? I mean,
Good reference.
but we're saying, like, Lex Luthor is
There's a
pulling
much bigger problem. There's a much bigger problem, which is the man I've just found out, his name is Nuclear Man, flies... It's Mariel Hemingway, right? No, who's the...
Meryl Hemingway, yes.
Yeah, Mariel Hemingway flies her into space where she appears to be like,
She can breathe.
what's happening?
She can-
Like it. She would literally implode
Yes.
and
Yes.
be just floating pile of guts that would go on forever
Yes.
because the silence of space and the inertia of whatever motion would bring her blobby corpse of nonsense
Yes.
through the rest of the galaxy.
That's right.
Well, let's even break down the fact when Superman flies with Lois Lane, he goes from New York to San Francisco so quick that she would also be dead.
Yes.
And there would be no time for casual conversation
Also-
in that flight. It'd be like, what? Like,
Also, if I'm Superman and will you hold my hand this way? And I'm
this
holding
is how it
Lois' hand.
happens.
If I'm holding, ew.
Dream
Ow.
of dreams.
Why? Why does it burn?
So wet.
Why does your touch burn?
So wet.
Ugh. Okay. Okay. So if we're flying this way and I'm like, there's no way she's also doing this. She would be dangling down here.
You're right. But then
But
she's
like,
allowed.
like,
But she's
you're-
allowed
you-
to fly on her own.
You be Superman now. You be Superman. If I'm going,
he would.
But not only that.
gravity works on me.
But he lets her fly on
Yes.
her own like Peter Pan.
He doesn't let her fly. He lets her plummet. He lets
tries
her
to straight
plummet
up
and
kill her.
experience death.
He
Wait.
does like a straight up suicide pact with her, walks her off the building.
this I had a problem
That's
Yes,
with.
go-
Okay, this is a worthwhile scene to watch because it's so crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
why would he do this to
Is this
her?
the
He has a
before-
crush on her, and he says, "I want to get some. Let's get
Fresh
some
air.
fresh air."
Yeah, can I ask a question before we play this?
Yes.
That was confusing for me about this. At this point, she does not know he's Superman.
Well,
right?
That's my
hold
question.
on. This is what we need to get to the bottom of. So, as a professional Superman expert, what I find the most upsetting about this film is
a PSE.
is they just repurpose scenes from the first two movies. Like this scene where he takes her flying is in Superman 1, and it's beautiful, and it's like an amazing scene. And here, like, let's just do it because he needs to tell her a secret, and then he's gonna like give her amnesia again. But in Superman 2, the whole thing is she finds out he is Clark Kent as Superman, and then
amnesia,
and then they forget it.
Well, so what happens is they're at a hotel. They're doing an expose on like cheesy hotels, and she like keeps on trying to kill herself to prove that he would rescue her as Superman. And then he finally like puts his hand in a fire. I know too much about Superman. And
it's not in this movie.
No, but this is the fourth one. So in the lineage of the story, like that's the fourth one. So we understand that. So, but the idea was at the end of Superman 2, she's like, I'll keep your secret. I know everything. He's like, great. Then he kisses her so hard that she forgets everything from that movie.
What?
And so, because like in the first movie, he flies around the Earth and then rewinds the Earth, which I have issues with. But so he kisses her so hard, she forgets.
What's interesting is can't the Flash do the same thing?
Yes.
So that's a problem.
Good for him.
Nobody gives a shit about the Flash.
Flash would have to run.
If there's two people in the DC universe who can reverse time simply by reversing the axis of that's really that's foolish.
Tell it to the people at DC.
You know what? I'm going to. Take care, everybody.
See you later.
But
only coming back when I've got an answer.
Bendis is finally going over to DC to correct this problem.
But this is this thing where he just like takes her on a flight and then basically
bullshit.
roofies her
Yes.
to not remember.
But then she goes,
That happens all the time.
no, this is why
serious.
this movie. No, but this is why this movie makes it so dumb, because it was a big deal that she found out, and then he fixed it, and now it seems like whenever he wants to kind of like chat with his therapist, he's like,
when
yeah.
Superman 3, what happens there?
She doesn't know that she's barely in it, and she doesn't know.
I wonder
she's
if
like off in
negotiations
France.
broke
Was she
down
in
to the
France?
last minute.
Yeah, she was in France. She's always in France.
She loves France.
Superman 2 opens up with her in France.
This movie perpetrates that myth that women love France.
That's true.
But basically,
I stand behind that.
Top of the patriarchy.
But so the whole idea is that it's a big deal that she knows, but then she says to him, I always remembered, even when you gave me that amnesia kiss, I remembered, because she said, I never forgot. But then that takes away everything. It's stupid.
So wait, when he gives her this amnesia kiss,
I guess
does she still remember?
I don't know.
Is that a power he has in addition to
and
moving
also,
things?
can he kiss and it not be an amnesia kiss? Or all
I don't
his
know.
kisses
That, like,
are
Every
amnesia
time he kisses you, you don't remember what just happened.
Like,
That's
or
fucked up.
like, what if they decide to stay together?
It's like a Superman roofie. You know
exactly.
something has
You
happened.
feel like your butthole's sore, but you don't know why. Yeah, right? That's how people love each other. That's how people love each
This is
other.
what women are like.
This is we women are taken back the night.
God. Topple the patriarchy.
Yeah.
We're going to topple the patriarchy in France.
You know, I wanted to ask Natasha, because as a young
So everybody else don't listen.
girl,
Yeah.
one of my earliest sexual memories was watching Flash Gordon,
Yeah.
old school, where they had a tin can and then he'd be tied.
There's even no new school of Flash Gordon.
Okay, fine. So that was
yeah,
it.
only
And then I was trying.
You mean the TV show?
The TV show, yeah, where
Oh.
people be tied up every so often. You know what I mean?
People be tied up.
Hang on.
You're a
I'd love
wild
to
cat.
That's
unpack,
right.
Love to unpack this for
Yeah.
a minute.
At any rate, I spent a lot of this movie watching it thinking, did this turn me on when I was little? And I was wondering, I think top up, Superman does it for me.
Yeah.
From the bottom, especially those
Right.
boots,
Yeah.
is killing my lady boner.
Yeah.
I would argue that Nuclear
Did you feel
Man.
anything?
I can't tell because I was so blinded by like definitely like Gene Hackman, like Lex Luthor. I'm
That's
like
who you
all
were
in.
into. Interesting.
That's my scene, and I feel like in general.
That's your scene.
Yeah.
An apartment that looks like a TJ Maxx Home Goods.
I don't care. You know what I
Is
love?
your scene.
How about his that gold blazer he puts on?
Well, I think he and
yeah,
Mariel Hemingway were sharing wardrobe.
I am not.
Amada LeMay.
I am not
Amada LeMay.
surprised to find out
Yeah.
that Natasha Lyonne is horny for villains.
Yeah, Lex Luthor, come on. And the whole time he's so cocky. He's like,
Well, he still
I'm
has
a genius. Give me all your money. I'm taking over. You know,
I want to see
look
this
what I
movie. I
built.
want to see this movie.
And he's
You know
like,
what?
yo, Ducky, break me out of the clink. You know? He's great.
I just got a text.
Yeah.
Jesse Eisenberg has been fired as Lex Luthor in the new movies. You are in.
Please, I wish I could get a job like that.
I will say that as much as it seems like no one wanted to be here, Gene Hackman and Christopher Reeve are, first of all, Christopher
Bringing
Reeve
it.
killing it, I think.
Always in the moment.
But Gene Hackman also, funny thing about Gene Hackman is Lex Luthor is a bald man, fully a bald man. But like he was like at a certain point, he's like, oh, I don't want to wear that bald wig anymore. So he just wore his normal hair, and they never justify it. Like at least in the second one, they're like, oh, it's a wig, and then he takes it on.
Yeah, that's what Lex is like. He's
But
like,
don't
fuck
you-
your wig. I don't want to fucking wear it. That's why.
Don't
By the
you
way,
feel like that Gene Hackman, that was like the last time his hair was like that full? And it was kind of giving him some energy, like like a
He
real
felt the
joie de
sexier-
vivre, you know what I mean? Like,
He had a very Bill Murray-esque energy. I thought I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I liked it.
I liked it.
But also, I also thought the worst plan of all time to escape from jail, Lex is working on a chain gang.
Yeah.
His nephew, Lenny Luthor, played by John Cryer, comes to pick
Who
him up.
is literally Ducky, but with like a Valley Girl accent.
Yeah, the accent.
I was even gonna...
Big choice. Like, I'm sure that for all of us watching certain things, like Margot Kidder's French, Mariel Hemingway on the table, like Ducky's accent, you're like, as an actor, you're like, wow, these are major choices. That.
It's almost like at the beginning,
you
the
know.
director was like, I need everybody to make a choice that seems too big, then double it.
They're like, we're gonna make up for the lack of budget in performance.
Yeah.
You give me $2 million.
What
Remember-
about John Cryer's, like, the scene you can tell is looping when he's being spun?
Oh, yeah.
And that's where the Valley Girl, I want to watch that too. Maybe
John,
I liked it more than I thought.
well, the plan to pick up for Lex, and this is where the movie is this lazy. It's like he comes in a car, and the plan is like, this car is going to be so cool that the two security guards watching Chain Gang are going to be like, I need to listen to the sound system in this car. So then they're going to have to get in, and then he has a remote control to flip down the seats.
Never
put up the
mind
top.
that he has just driven up to
Yeah.
a prison camp.
And then the car like launches off a cliff, and then that's their only means of escape.
Yeah. No, there's a truck.
Oh.
The truck the prisoners arrived in is what they then leave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then good. Then I have no
But I
problem with
will.
it.
I agree. They trashed a pretty cool car.
I like that car. It was all decked out with the
What a
word
waste.
Lane.
also,
What
did
a
you
waste.
guys think it was amazing? Like, seconds after, so they drive off a cliff, they're definitely dead. Then you cut to the.
You think?
Right? But then you cut, and the police are like, we're still alive. And I feel like somebody in a screening was like, that's too sad. And so then they just put them on a rock in Griffith Park, and we're like, I'm still here.
This whole movie is about weird cutaways. Like when Superman and Lois Lane are flying, she takes off his glasses and then puts her on like a belt loop. Like,
That's
I'll
weird.
keep these for later. Like, are weird.
But it's also very much a cartoon. And that's what comics are like on the big screen.
Interesting.
No, but
Tell us more.
I don't want to talk about this.
Just a couple. A couple of things about this movie. Christopher Reeve had story by credit. This is his movie. He wanted to tell this story because the nuclear arms race was very important to him, and he also
He was a notorious communist. Am I correct?
Yes.
So
And that
he
was the
was
interesting-
pro-Russia.
Yes, and that's part of the thing that goes on that we don't really see, but yes.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
I'm
please,
so
you can
sorry
say
to
whatever you'd like.
interrupt.
This show is
Don't
all
apologize for
interruptions
yourself.
all the time. So don't you worry.
On Amazon, are you guys familiar? When you watch it,
dropper.
and then there's the little pop-ups of the information.
Right.
Early on, it says, Christopher Reeve was so sad that the movie was such a flop, and it was so bad that it destroyed any credibility he had.
Yeah.
And he was really had put his heart in it and was very disappointed to find out that it was going to be actually this bad of a movie. And it really colored my experience.
Yeah, Christopher Reeve.
Because
not a fan.
you read that
felt
before
bad
you
for him.
watched
I
it.
did. I just felt, and of
Yeah.
course, because of, his life and tragedy. And then I did have this
Wait, what
darker
tragedy?
sort of K-hole. You know what?
Come to think of it, I have not seen him in a movie recently.
Okay. Who
No.
wants to?
Jerk City, population 1.
Christopher Reeve, but apparently, according to some of the research I hear from our expert researcher Nate Kiley, Christopher Reeve was not super nice, or I guess not nice to Margot Kidder. Margot Kidder's like, he had a crazy ego on this movie because he wrote it and he wanted to do his own thing. And then his autobiography.
Oh, and he fired a fancy director, didn't he?
Yeah, well, Wes Craven was the original director of this movie.
Okay, guys.
Yes, Wes Craven. Now, this is
Wes's pitch for the movie. Okay. Scary Superman.
bigger nails, and he comes out in Superman's dreams, and he's clawing, and his face is burnt from the sun. And he's got a cool fedora made of the sun, and it's like a red sweat. It will never work, Wes. It will never. This is Christopher Reeve's autobiography, Still Me. He wrote, "We were so hampered by budget constraints and cutbacks. Canon Films had 30 projects in the works, and Superman 4 received no special consideration. For example, we wrote a scene in which Superman lands on 42nd Street and walks down the double yellow lines to the United Nations, where he gives a speech. If that had been a scene in Superman 1, we would have had shot it on 42nd Street. Richard Donner would have choreographed hundreds of pedestrians and vehicles and cut the people gawking out of office windows. And instead, we had to shoot in an industrial park in England, in the rain, with less than 100 extras, not a car in sight,
That's
and
sad.
a dozen pigeons thrown in for atmosphere."
That is fucked up.
Not a lot of credit was given to those pigeons
No.
whose
lives were lost.
Those few pigeons had to represent a multitude of pigeons. If
it was
June
like
were
Planet
here,
of the
I
Apes.
figure she'd...
So many.
Also, they didn't have pigeons in England before then, and then they brought those pigeons over there,
now-
and now they're
Now
it's like a
pigeons have
pigeon-
taken over England.
Right?
Yeah, it's an epidemic of pigeons.
Well, between the Christopher Reeve's disappointment and, of course, the way his life panned out, and Margot Kidder and the intensity level
Which
of
one is Margot
what-
Kidder?
Lois Lane.
Lois Lane.
Oh, got it.
And what happened to Margot was not great.
What happened?
Wait,
Margot.
why? What's up with Margot?
I really don't know what happened to Margot.
No,
Do
you're
you
not
know?
being serious, are you?
Yes, I'm being serious.
Oh, well,
We'll-
then not.
we'll-
Terrible.
Guys, we'll
you know
Google it
what?
later. Google it later.
Let's all just be quiet for a second
Yeah.
while you Google it and we watch.
Why? Did a
Yeah.
gorilla get her, rip her face off or something?
Well, the point of the story,
That's like a really tragic
Wow,
thing.
very dark.
she, the double whammy of their tragic lives for
Yes.
me,
It was hard to watch.
it felt very much like a K-hole experience. Perhaps I
feel
was
like-
more like watching Apocalypse Now and surround sound or something.
tough.
Something
Did you feel
about
like maybe this
the
movie
human,
was cursed?
Yeah, like humanity and how broken and how sad and how dark
God, that
it
is
all
a
becomes.
tough-
Just because of kind of, the hope of the original Superman,
Right.
likely,
Yes.
and then the turn their
And-
double life took.
I mean,
And so,
and we'll be right
Here we
back
are.
after these messages. Well, the one thing that was going great for this movie was the glasses. Everyone had pretty
Everybody
big
had
glasses. From Mariel Hemingway to the reporters, everyone was rocking some
Well, I
solid
think
specs.
that tells us who is smart If you have glasses on, you're a smart person in the movie, right? You know
Yes.
how to read or write.
I feel like like in Tron, they did that too. Like the lead in the original Tron, like wore glasses, but you could tell he was not comfortable with it. He's like, yeah, I'm a nerd, but I'm also sexy. So he'd always just carry his glasses in his hand. Like they were like, almost like, yeah, I got these. I can wear them at any time, but I'm not because I'm sexy.
The guy who plays the editor-in-chief, is he always that person?
Perry White,
Perry
or
White.
the guy from David Warfield.
Thick glasses.
That's Perry White. That's Jackie Cooper. Yes, he's been in all
like
of them.
the, always the kind of editor of the Daily
Daily.
Planet.
And how do
He's
you
like-
feel like you know who's who?
I felt like in this movie though, everyone said like, I'll definitely do Superman 4. I can give you
Day and a
7
half.
hours.
Yeah. And no costume changes.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna show up in this lame suit and I'm gonna shoot it and then I'm taking that suit with me.
Ooh, also, my family owns a gym. One of the scenes need to be shot in that gym.
Yeah.
Would it surprise you if I told you the original cut of the movie was
35 minutes long.
They had to add scenes for the first time.
135 minutes? 2 hours, or over 2 hours, and it tested so good that the Cannon film company, like, we got a hit on our hands. Let's cut it to 90 so we can play it more. And so apparently, according to everything that I've read, the 135-minute version of the movie is actually pretty good. And,
Wow.
and they made it worse, and I'm gonna show you
Was
a
that
scene.
ever released in
That
any?
is
No.
wild.
No.
Like, does Ducky's drum talent have a storyline? Because we see them, we talk about them once, but I don't know what.
Nothing would make me happier than if that was really Ducky. If
we
at
have-
the end of 16 Candles he was like, oh, I just got a letter. My Uncle Lex needs me to help out with something.
See you after graduation.
I guess I'll see you later.
Well, nothing-
You should have chosen me.
By the way, nothing in
no.
nothing in Lenny Luthor's life made sense. He's a Valley guy, but he's also into music. But there
He's
wasn't like
punk rock because he has like a mohawk,
was he?
right?
But yeah, I mean, but it was like nothing really. Like if he was punk rock like that,
I feel like he was all teen things in one.
Yeah.
So that every group could be like, he's just like me.
Yeah.
By the way, it worked for the 9-year-old me. 'Cause I love John Cryer, and I was like, I love Hiding Out. I love Pretty in Pink. He's the best. I would love to be Lenny Luthor. So it worked for me.
See, it only worked for me at Ducky because I was like, I'm 100% Ducky, but every other John Cryer, I was like, I'm not this guy.
Not even Hiding Out.
Yeah.
Hiding Out is a good
Could I
movie.
ask one question too? Remember the scene where they first broke out and they were in the museum with Superman's hair,
Yes.
real strong hair?
Oh, yeah.
They're wearing checkered pants that look like you would wear like if you were a chef or something, right?
That's
and then,
legitimate fashion for the
and
time.
a tiger top. Is that a sports team I'm not aware of, or
I feel
why
like
are they dressed identically?
This costume designer was mad.
Yeah.
And took it out on the actors.
Oh, I thought you
more.
meant insane mad.
Oh,
but
no.
that
I feel
too,
like
baby.
her paycheck or his paycheck bounced.
clearing.
And he
Yeah.
was like,
It could
yeah,
have been
checkered
one of
pants,
the-
tiger shirt.
It could have been one of those things where they were like, you know what? We're giving you all the clothes that you can use. Figure it out. Like as if the costume, the wardrobe department couldn't go and pick and choose stuff to build stuff. They were like, we got a dump truck full of weird clothes. Half of it's from a clown picture a couple of years ago. Make it work.
It's like kids playing dress up. It's like, this hat will go with these pants.
Yeah. But it's almost radical, like how 80s it is, because it's one of these movies where across the board you forget how 80s the 80s are.
Yeah.
And then you see something like this and you're like, oh, that's what they mean.
Yeah, this is like when
Yeah.
Christopher Reeve is selling his house and he's in those jeans that are so loose around
They
his
are
hip,
teal,
but then
my
also
friend.
so tight around his dick. Like,
Yes. I
Like,
thought this was a real John Hamm scenario.
Loose hip and tight dick. Lee jeans.
it's
Yeah. Because he had to pick a
Look
side.
at, can
Yeah.
look at,
See, I feel
He
so
had
bad
to
for
pick
him.
a side. You don't get to be Superman unless you have a
Look
gigantic
at how
dick.
long the fly is. Like, this portion is 3 times longer than normal jeans.
Big dick jeans.
Loose waist, tight dick.
But it makes
There's
me...
so much fabric.
Yeah.
There's so much fabric.
You know what I love? Pics of dead people. That's my thing.
This whole like selling the farm scene seemed weird.
Can I ask a question? Did Ma and Pa Kent die in Superman 3?
Sounds like it.
Or 2?
I believe that
Nerds?
Pa Kent dies in Superman 1. That's
Okay.
Is that
part of
Brando?
No, Brando is Superman's father. Clark Kent's dad is someone different.
Luke,
So-
it's from Bo and Luke Duke, right?
Is it?
In the TV
Is
show.
it?
Oh, no, in the new, one of the...
Oh, yeah, that's Smallville you're thinking of.
I think so, right?
You're right.
Yeah.
Right? I
Yeah.
believe it's Smallville,
I jerked it to that guy though. Straight up.
Well, during Smallville time?
No, during
During
Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah. Everybody jerked it to Dukes of Hazzard, right?
Right.
Raise your
I think
hand
we
if
can
you
all
jerked
agree
it
to
to
that.
Dukes of Hazzard, right?
That nobody.
You
They're so
cowards.
young.
You
Right here,
cowards.
boss hog all day
Oh.
long.
Roscoe P. Coltrane. The P stands for penis. I'm just kidding. It was
Is there
Enos.
a new Superman?
Yes, Henry.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Henry-
I had a moment
Yeah.
where I think it was after the suicide number.
Yeah. Where they
That we
jumped
were
off the
gonna
building.
Boy,
watch.
Yeah.
boy, do
Yeah,
I wish
double
that had been a
suicide.
musical number.
And then I was like, oh, this is crazy. No wonder they keep remaking the picture with Tobey Maguire and Kristen Dunst.
Oh boy.
And then
Picture.
went down the road a bit inside my mind and discovered that he's not Spider-Man.
Right.
I had a similar.
And by the way, I love that you almost had like a choose your own adventure journey on this. You were watching pop-ups. You were
So,
you went down the rabbit hole.
Natasha, it took you maybe 25 to 30 minutes of the movie to realize Superman is not Spider-Man?
Again, like I say, not my genre.
Of course.
I had a similar feeling. I
knew-
really did.
Right?
I
And
really
I knew
did.
that they
I get it.
existed, like I mentioned previously.
Sure.
I was fully aware of Superman's vague existence.
Of course.
And also Spider-Man's.
Sure.
However, for me, it's not something, it's not a
not on
Godfather
your radar.
remake.
They're
There's-
not
that I
bring-
want to see that, but I'm just
You
saying.
wanna see a Godfather remake?
But I'm just saying it's not like,
Natasha Lyonne on record is saying they should remake The Godfather.
Yes.
I'll walk off this stage. I will walk. No, I don't want to see a Godfather remake. Yeah, but I'm just saying it's not something I really. But yeah, it's just crazy that they make so many of them. And also, poor Kristen Dunst and Tobey Maguire.
Poor them?
Like,
Why?
I mean,
Why?
can you believe they must be like every 5 minutes they make another? That was
That's
our
true.
remake.
Right.
Did you even know
their
about Andrew
remake.
Garfield and Emma Stone? They did one too, the two of them.
Yeah.
And then now there's more.
There's more.
Now
yeah.
there's a new one.
There's a
a
new
lot of
one.
them.
Now
So
there's a
I'm
new one.
just saying
Tom
it's
Holland
crazy.
and a bunch of other people.
And people love it. They love
I just
it.
don't want to spoil it. I'm not going to say who the.
Are you
I don't
the
want to
casting
spoil
director?
anything. What's that?
Are you casting it? Is it already
I
been
am
shot?
not. I am no longer a casting director.
But you were great because you gave honest feedback, but you were also very supportive.
Yes. Always very supportive. And I always read with the people that I was auditioning with and tried to be better than them.
Yeah. That came across.
Like
lot
you
of
would
people
improvise
don't know,
lines.
A lot of people don't know that a lot of my acting work comes from being behind the camera,
That's true.
reading against actors, and then people being like, we should cast that reader.
Yeah. Hey, can I just ask one question, Paul? I'm
Please
so
ask as many as
sorry.
you'd like.
This has been a question I've had in my mind for a long, long time, and I've never bothered to ask anyone or Google it. That green stuff, that green crystal, is that kryptonite?
What do you think?
yeah.
What do you think
That's
is going
kryptonite.
on there?
What?
What do you think is going on there?
I think that his planet that he was born in was made of kryptonite. What I can't understand is then why is kryptonite the one thing that will destroy him?
Yeah, you're pretty right, actually.
What do you mean?
That is like...
That makes no sense.
I was
Pretty right.
Here's the reasoning behind it. Because I had the same thing, and I think this is what it is. But that kryptonite is not bad. There's different types of kryptonite.
What?
Right? Yes. So there's when kryptonite, I guess, exploded, different pieces of it came off. I'm loose. I'm fuzzy on this math as well. I didn't understand why that kryptonite was like kind of like you get another life. Like I didn't get like, oh yeah, we just gave you this spare life in case. Like by the way, love that whole sequence where he became an old man and became bald.
Holy shit!
That
in
was
like
great.
one day.
I have
He was
questions
sick as
about
hell.
that.
Yeah.
I have questions about that, but very quickly, can one nerd explain the kryptonite to us?
Hold on, if you can raise your hand. There's a blue kryptonite that does something, there's a red kryptonite that does something, but I think the kryptonite in this movie is bullshit. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna go down.
Be careful.
Gotta get in.
All right. You're gonna explain the kryptonite. What's your name, sir?
My name's Andrew.
Andrew, take it away, kryptonite explanation.
So there's different kryptonite, but it's different colors. This is just lazy filmmaking. There is no other explanation. I feel like they were like, let's have crystals. And they're like, oh, well, he has green crystals, so let's make it green crystals. But that's not what kryptonite is at all.
What is it? It's never green?
Kryptonite is green, and it's a whole thing where...
Do you think that was kryptonite in the under the barn?
No, not at all, because it's part of his ship, which is also green for some reason.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, it's just lazy. It's just them not...
So there was no there was not kryptonite, that was just green substance
that
from
was speaking
Krypton.
like his mother for some reason.
Right, but then when he goes
It was essentially, underneath the Kent family barn is like an answering machine from his mom that he still plays the old message from, because it's like it's like when you keep an ex-lover's lover. By the way,
Ew.
kill me. I'm done. When you keep an ex's voicemail just to be like, oh, remember what they sounded like?
Yeah.
It's like that. And then you accidentally hit return call.
Yeah.
And then you just leave a message. Tells them how they really fucked up again.
Then you talk about it on
Jason,
a podcast.
Calm down.
Cut this
They'll
out.
call you.
Cut this out of the podcast. Cut this out of the podcast.
We'll be right back. But there was another part of that.
Oh, God.
So to the point about the kryptonite, I will say this. It makes no sense that he goes back to the barn to get that piece of kryptonite because he already built his fucking fortress, which is where all the crystals are anyway. It wouldn't be like, let me keep one spare here. The only reason why he went back in the first place. Why?
Because his mother says, the voice, I'm assuming it's his mother. Yeah, it is his mother.
Yeah.
The voice says, once you remove this crystal, this green slime
You'll never
will
hear
go
from me
dead.
again.
So he'll never be able to hear her voice again.
But,
So
but he's been able to do that in the Fortress of Solitude in the other movies.
Oh, really? He talks to his mom?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then fuck
Isn't that where he like removes it and puts it in?
Can I just talk about the scene that drove me nuts, and I know we haven't even really gotten into the whole nuclear war subplot, which is so prescient in this time.
Where he hammer throws a basket full of nuclear warheads.
I wanted to
into
see him
the sun.
throw the net of. By the way, a bold move to be like, I think that will be okay if I
By
throw
the
this
way,
into the sun.
if the warheads were all
Touching each other.
jamming against each other, wouldn't they just blow up?
Yeah.
It was-
It's like a
it
net
was-
of sardines, only it's a bunch of warheads.
But I will
wait,
find
how do you
remember
mean?
this part.
Wait a minute. How do you mean
Yep.
sardines?
What's that? When you
What do
catch
you mean, like a
sardines,
bunch of sardines?
you catch it in a net like that. Instead
Yeah.
of the sardines, it's a bunch of warheads in there.
So you're not even talking about sardines in a can. You're talking about sardines in a fishing net. 'Cause most people
Exactly.
refer
That's
to
how
the
they are
cans.
before they put them in a
Right,
can,
but-
Dick.
Right, but when they're mashing up against each
Yes.
other, they don't explode.
That's right.
So I'll believe the
Yeah, you
ridiculousness
feel
of
me.
that nuclear net.
Feel me.
What I won't believe is the weird justification that they got to get them to do a double date scene That double date scene is like, why would he ever subject himself to
It's
such
so crazy.
stupidity?
That's insane. And guess what she's serving? Scallops and duck. That are two risky meals to
like-
prepare
Also
for a date.
Also, gross.
It's gross.
But,
Like on a texture level, gross.
Gross.
but Superman somehow knows how to cook perfect duck. Like, she's like, the duck turned out great.
Was he speeding it up so that he'd have to stay there for too long?
Remember? No, because he needed it to be on fire so that way he could get out and become Clark Kent.
But he didn't make it go on fire. He just cooked it perfectly.
It's
to
the
perfection.
classic.
Wow.
But I would agree
That's
with you.
what
That
I
would
thought
be
was
the
gonna
smart.
happen.
That would be the smart thing.
I was a little in and out.
It's
I was
the
a little in and
classic.
out.
It's the classic. Oh no, I've got 2 dates at the same restaurant, and I have to shut.
But there was
shut-
no reason for him
He
to subject
did
himself
it
to
on
that.
purpose.
Also, is Lois Lane dating Superman?
She has a thing with him.
She's just getting an interview, right?
Yes, but they always like have datey interviews in the movies.
What
Like,
was up with that
dude,
indoor
Honest
hot
about
tub?
that
though?
apartment? That apartment, by the way.
Indoor hot tub.
Everybody in this movie has balconies, like giant balconies.
Yeah.
Even Superman, or Clark Kent, seemingly lives in a shithole, has a beautiful fireplace in his living room, working.
It's like West Side Story a little. Another movie I haven't really totally seen.
Me neither. But I feel like I have.
Yeah, but like from the stills.
Yeah.
I've gathered.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of fire
A
escapes.
lot of balcony work and
Yeah,
stuff.
a lot of balcony.
Yeah.
I will just point out a couple things in Lois's apartment. Dual golden candelabras.
Yeah. I would still
Is
watch
this
that
Lois's
suicide.
apartment? No, this is the rich-
This is Mariel Hemingway's apartment,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, is
isn't
it?
Well, yeah, she's
Okay.
loaded. Are
And
you
she's
kidding me?
rich, as she says repeatedly.
And is he wearing a wig?
Which one? Lois? Mariel?
No, Reeves.
Lois is dressed like the mother of the bride. She's like, just gonna pair this.
But I feel like
silk.
both of them, this really I find irritating.
This
There's
is
that
like,
hot tub.
Like for anybody who's interested in the fashion of it, like that this is now so hip in Brooklyn or something.
hell free. Hang on.
I can't handle.
Hang on.
I find it makes me angry.
Up in the upper right-hand corner is Mariel Hemingway's initials.
But it's
Wait,
not
is this
her
her
character's
actual
name.
apartment?
It's
Do you
not
think
her
they-
character's
Do
name.
you think they shot this in Mariel Hemingway's
Very
apartment?
possibly.
It's a Marriott Hilton.
Oh, maybe it's yeah.
Well, because
maybe it's the
yeah.
name of the building that they are in or something.
Was
But
it ever a thing to have greenery on like lattice wallpaper
Yeah.
too? I mean, I can't tell if that's real or. Oh, let's see. I'll open it up big. Yeah, but that. Oh no, I guess it's not real. I think it's painted on.
it's wallpaper maybe.
I really
is
want to
this
show you
Burger
this
King
thing.
clip?
This is something that we can never really show our listening audience. We can just show it here, but I'm going to urge you, if you're listening, to Google this. So the movie was 134 minutes, which means that a lot of stuff was cut out, like the fact that there was another nuclear man that was cast,
What?
fired, and then recast in the movie. And here is the scene.
Cast,
Topsy-turvy.
fired, then brought back. You mean?
No, sorry. Fired, then they recast it with the actor.
Yeah.
I can't describe it because I'll let you watch it. Here we go.
What is happening? Time out.
I don't want to fight, okay? I just want to know where you come from. Destroy this man.
So what we just watched was like an odd Buster Keaton fight scene.
That music was embedded? Is
Yeah,
that part of the
is that-
soundtrack?
Yes, that was not
I
that.
thought
What we
a
heard that
band
boop
would-
boop 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 was part of the movie. The quality is terrible because clearly no one wanted you to ever see that.
So that's more of a like Frankenstein's monster version of this character.
Yes, the nuclear man.
Or like
character.
Frankenberry.
Or Frankenberry.
He looks just like
He
Frankenberry.
looks-
does.
just look like
And they have this fight, and it makes you go. Actually, watching that scene makes you go like, "Holy shit! They pulled it out. Like
Yeah.
like if that's what they were shooting,
Can you
and they were like,
imagine if that had been the movie? This would be a legendary movie.
Yeah.
And that's gotta be a choice you make when you're looking
Yeah.
at dailies on a picture like this. Like, do we go all in?
Not only that,
Right, and they should have, probably.
They went through hair and makeup, wardrobe tests.
Yeah.
They went through weeks of work with that guy to become that guy, then shot with him.
But when you see it,
Yeah.
you like the internal team is like, you guys, the movie's not great, but
Yeah.
we
It's-
can turn this one around.
so
And by the way, I would
Leave it
argue the nuclear man that they got that we're looking at here with the gold tights, he almost looks cooler than Superman.
yeah, he looks
And
like a
his
cooler
outfit.
version of Jeff Fahey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and now
One-
the inter-
yeah.
So
I
there's
like
a
his
couple.
look better, you know?
Well, there was a cool thing that they were going to do too. They were
That's
going to
just
put
black
Superman,
clothes.
and they were going to put Christopher Reeve in a black costume and make him be like a version
Fight
of
himself.
Adam.
The bad-
That's what I thought was going to happen
Right,
when
because
they.
it's his hair.
Yeah.
Yes, and remember when they're putting all this stuff together? It looks like a little wonton, like
Yes.
an old wonton, and then some like paprika, and then one other thing. I forget what it is.
A
they
piece
put
of
in.
cloth.
Oh, a piece of cloth.
Wait,
it takes
can I
like
ask
a
a
bunch
question?
of safety
Is it an
scissors.
Asian person who's making the wonton?
No.
No.
Exactly.
Where
By the
are
way-
the
Where?
Asian people in Metropolis?
They-
in this world?
They had no problem cutting that Superman hair. By the way, the Superman hair that's holding 1,000-pound weight, they're like, snip. Seems like that would
But
be
he
real.
had like super big comedy pliers or something, right?
But still, super big comedy players should be able to get through that hair.
No, they
But
shouldn't.
Superman fighting himself, that's something I want to see.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
You know
it
what
have been
else?
awesome?
They lived in a very low security universe altogether.
It's
in
pre-9/11.
retrospect.
Pre-9/11.
Yeah.
Pre 9/11.
Because
They're living in a
between
pre-9/11 world.
The cops in the beginning on the
Yep.
chain gang, and later in the museum, and so on.
But
Wouldn't it have
obviously,
been great if
budget made them not be able to do those scenes because they did shoot them. So they shot 3 versions of Nuclear Man. This comedy version, Christopher Reeve, and then they finally went to this other guy. And part of the reason why the effects are so bad is you will see this. This is a little montage of the flying scenes where they didn't change a thing.
Yeah, same. There we go.
Every flying scene is exactly the same.
That
And it's
is
the
something.
same with the when they in the subway section when the subway with Lois goes screaming by and you see all the people on the subway station are like oh, and then Superman flies by and it's the exact same shot of the same people being like oh.
The budget's so bad that I feel like they used a part of Universal Theme Park for a part of the movie. Like when you go on the tour, they're like that shark jumps out at you, and then they go, "Oh, Mount Vesuvius has exploded," and there's like water comes down a thing. Like that seemed like it was shot on the Universal back lot, but nothing was changed. It was sort of like I almost feel like they may have just put a camera on the tour bus and gotten it.
What I felt like didn't get enough attention, and it wasn't explicitly said in the movie, but like when they take Superman's hair, because it's holding up like 1,000-pound weight, is like it's a pube.
You think that came from his.
It's a pube because when Lex Luthor cuts it off, it like shrinks right back up
Wow.
into a curly little guy.
Okay.
Do you think
Maybe
that's
that
how
was
the
some lost
Superman?
scenes about
Yeah,
that.
where they explained how they got Superman's pubes.
Yeah.
Superman straightens all of his pubic hair
And originally-
with 1,000-pound weights. He just stands there.
Originally, and this is what I read online, I'm sure it was a reputable source.
Would you- on my
Originally,
PBS
they were,
website?
it would say, yeah, they were gonna, Lex Luthor was trying to make Puberman.
Oh.
A Superman based on Superman's pubes that would just be as strong as his pubes, which are very strong. Puberman.
Well,
Long walk.
No.
for that.
Don't feel like you need to reward that. It was mediocre at best. I thought of it a while ago. I waited for it. It wasn't worth it.
You waited. That's the
Don't
sad
worry
part.
about it. I'm not too worried about it. You shouldn't be either.
there are a lot of things we need to talk about. We're going to go to the audience right now to see if they have any opinions. I'm going to run up to the top. It's going to take me a second, though. Hold on. It's a long way.
While Paul's doing that, don't you fucking look at us. We're not here.
All right, I'm back. Here I am.
Can we get house lights?
Get some house lights up.
Do house lights exist?
All right, so we're up in the balcony. Who has a good... All right, this gentleman right here. I'll first come to you, and you'll say your name, but say it in your best nuclear man voice. Okay, so... Well, like a Gene Hackman with an echo effect. All right, so your name and your question. Here we go. I'll hold the mic.
Michael.
Great. That was great.
So my question is that in the first half, Superman seems focused on nuclear disarmament. And then he fights Nuclear Man and decides to give up on nuclear disarmament. Why?
It's an internal battle that he's been having. Because he says, like, I can't do it for you. He's like, if the people want it, they'll give it. You'll get it.
Well, that's kind of what the elders are saying in that scene when in the Fortress of Solitude.
Those
You know?
elders, that was really a shitty scene. Like,
Well, they couldn't get them for the day either, so they had to just like film themselves in their closet and then send in just their heads.
I love the person who was like, you should just go to a different planet.
Yeah.
yeah, like, give up. It's over.
Yeah, like, hey, oh, you know what, bro? That place seems like it sucks. You should, like,
That's
do
the kind
semester
of
abroad
attitude-
somewhere else.
That's the kind of attitude that brought down Krypton in the first place. Sir, your name in Nuclear Man's voice and your question.
Eli.
That's
Wait.
good.
Again, on the whole nuclear disarmament thing, it's like the world's ratcheting up towards nuclear war, and Russia and US stand on the brink, and then Superman's like, I'm going to stop this, so they just agree to fire their missiles into space.
Yeah, it was like he took all the missiles, he blew them up, and then they were still testing missiles. It didn't see. I don't know. I was confused by that.
Well, it seemed like nuclear war was happening, right? Like it was currently happening.
Yeah, like I don't think. Yeah, I guess they were.
Wait,
Do
was
they
it
ever
happening?
talk about that? Was anybody like, it's
Was
all...
it happening, or were they trying to launch the missiles so that Superman could take them into space?
No, they were launching them, and he was like, "Psych! I got them in my net, my sardine net." Yeah, just like that.
Ma'am, your name and you know how to deal. Here we go.
Yeah.
So my question is, when Superman takes Nuclear Man in the elevator to the moon, why not put him on the dark side of the moon?
Agree. I mean, eventually he smartens up enough to push the moon in front of the sun, knocking the moon out of its orbit.
Yeah.
Sending what I would only assume to be all of our planets into chaos.
Yeah. Or a never-ending winter at the very least.
And catastrophically affecting every woman's period.
That That's your first thought.
The minute he started moving that moon, I was like, oh,
Superman
shit.
5, the red tide.
Everybody bleeds. That's what it is. Superman, he doesn't care about women's menses.
All right, you know the drill. Here we go.
Sumo.
Love it. Echo.
So I'm guessing Lex is a fugitive, but yet he was able to sign a lease at the Empire State Building.
Yeah, it seems like Superman would keep better.
Need a cosign for that?
Lenny. It seems to me that Superman would be a little bit more like on top of like Lex. Like, is he still in jail? Maybe I could just fly him back over there. Because he seemingly just drops him off as if no harm, no foul.
What about the Disturbing Boys Club that Ducky's dropped off at, and the very handsome priest goes like, oh, we can handle all the boys or something. I was like, uh-oh, that's a different movie that I haven't seen.
Sir.
Nicholas. Where did Mariel Hemingway go?
It's a great question. On you guys, take it.
What?
Where did she go?
Where'd she go?
Oh, I have no idea.
Paul, you're so fit.
God, he's doing CrossFit.
I am so impressed that he made it all the way up the stairs. There was no heavy breathing. No.
Paul, that broke Paul. That question broke Paul.
Yeah.
He left. I just got a text from him. He said, I'm out of here.
Where
coming
did
down.
Mariel Hemingway go?
France?
She's in France. I bet she is.
France.
Is that true?
France, like
Living
all
the good
women.
life.
All right, here we go. Next question.
Sarah. My question is, do you guys think this was written by flat earthers? Because they go to China and they start in America and then they go to Italy all in the same fight scene. And it's never dark in any of those places.
Oh. Is that a group of people called flat earthers?
Isn't somebody from The View a flat earther?
Are they still like a contingent that's
Like
operating?
still hoping to make their mark?
Yeah.
Flat earthers?
Yeah, they're like-
they're out there.
Yeah, they're like, trust us.
There are still people. Oh, no, the
No,
internet.
there are not.
The internet has given rise now to people believing. Didn't Sherry Shepherd on The View say the earth was flat like 3 years ago?
No.
Right?
Maybe
Wasn't that
longer
who it
than
was?
3, but
And
it's
she's
happened.
part of a cult?
And wasn't
An
there
internet
somebody?
cult?
Wasn't there a sports person who said it as well? What?
Kyrie Irving.
A rapper too?
Wait,
Okay,
who's
so
the
lots
sports
of
guy?
people are suggesting this is true.
Do we have
Sports.
any evidence to prove that they're wrong?
If someone has definitive evidence and not doctored photos,
Yeah.
we've all
Yeah.
seen that one
Okay.
doctored photo
Yep.
of the circular earth.
No more of this BS.
All right, ma'am.
Oh, grabbing that mic. Paul, letting the...
Yeah.
Oh, she is? Okay.
Yeah. So obviously this was filmed in Milton Keynes, which is like an industrial town outside of England. And I feel like some production set designer was really self-conscious. So if you look in Clark Kent's apartment, there is a New York Giants flag, a Yale flag, a Wisconsin flag, and a Tampa Bay Buccaneers flag. How do we think he became a fan of all of those teams?
It's whatever they had at a Big Five Sports in the sales bin.
I mean, maybe he just was part of a flag giveaway.
Clark Kent loves penance. Not penance, but penance. Hi.
Mike Pennance.
Richard.
Amazing.
Okay, so I just found it interesting for how much Lois didn't seem to give a shit about Clark Kent. Like, to the point where she goes to his house, he's sick, and she finds a way to make it about herself. She's really cock-blocking Lacey. Because Lacey really wants Clark, and she's like, Clark's kind of a Boy Scout. I was like, he knows how to tie knots. Like,
Right.
He could put some.
And it's like, it's one thing if you don't want Clark,
Exactly.
but like, why are you trying to,
Like, you're all about Superman. Why won't you let Lacey, give him
why?
access?
It's just the glasses that makes her not recognize him.
Well, now you're unraveling a much larger conspiracy.
Because that's crazy.
So Lois is never interested in Clark, right?
Yeah, but I am confused because then she goes to the house when he's sick, and she's like, they look at each other like their eyes are saying. It's like deep eye subtext.
Yeah, and she's
of
saying,
like,
I knew it. I knew it. You know? And I was like, she went to the house. She's like, you're Superman. She's like, if I would tell Superman if he was dying, we had a great time.
Yeah. So,
And-
like, what's that?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't
Clark
know.
is always being friend-zoned. Always. That's why he's crying all the time.
Well,
You
no,
see
he's
how
not.
he's always on the verge of tears as Clark Kent all the time? Like, he's just like, oh, they're saying that Superman's not going to help that kid. And then he's like, just looking out the window crying. It's like,
Like Superman up.
There he is.
Thanks, everybody. That's our show. Thank you so much, New York.
I'm going to go to the gentleman right here because he's wearing a picture of... Okay, in a podcast we did, we referenced there was a picture on the wall of Betty White holding an urn. He is wearing a shirt of Betty
what?
White holding the urn.
That's amazing.
All right, that's for Jason. Thank you. Thanks for bringing one for all of us. It's weird, Jason. It's an XS.
Yeah. I'm losing that weight. I'm getting shredded, bro. CrossFit.
So, can you...
Wait a second.
My name.
Great.
I was confused by this quote from Lex Luthor where he says, it's about when he's explaining to Lenny how he could, nuclear man can't, survive without light. And he says, he gets his energy from the sun. Without it, he's like you at night. Useless.
I wrote that down too.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Does anyone know what that means?
does it mean everybody's sleeping?
Well, wait, you just said it means he's a limp dick.
He's calling his nephew Lenny a limp dick.
I guess it's as simple as that. I mean,
So do you think Lenny?
Oh, I see. Sexually,
Yeah,
he's
saying,
useless.
he's like, but people try and fuck in the day.
That's what I thought. I thought he should be like, he's like you trying to have sex.
Yeah,
useless. Like you at night means like going out, having dinner. Where there's a lot of nighttime
I thought it was
activities.
just sleeping. We all power down at night as humans.
This is why you can't make PG. Because that was by a note.
Don't try and get me to put this very obviously poisoned shirt on.
What you were saying, this is why you can't make PG, because it's you can't.
Oh, because then you have, innuendo that is gibberish.
Obviously, we had an opinion about this movie, but there are people out there that had a different opinion. It is now time for second opinions. You got one? Here we go.
5-star reviews down from Amazon Way. They love those bonkers movies no one else will play. They're saying Shaq, oh man, can he act? Watching Bloodsport all day, shouting Kumite. They're on the podcast now, our 5-star family. It's the second opinion from Amazon. And I'm Lindsay.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Wow, you did great.
New York brings
Well done.
New York brings the second opinion songs.
Also, a What's Its Mission shirt. What's its mission?
The shirt that was taken down by the Disney Corporation. All right, so these are 5-star reviews, cold from Amazon.
They can't stop us, though, Disney. You can't stop us. But they did stop us from selling that shirt.
Here we go. It starts off a little confrontational. This is just from someone.
I should say I also am not able to sell my Little Spermaid shirts anymore either. The Little Spermaid shirt?
That's pretty good. That's
It's
solid.
okay.
That's
It's
solid.
okay. Guys,
That's solid.
it's all right.
No, it's good. That one was better than the other one.
A little Spermaid?
It
Like
took
the Little
me a while.
Mermaid.
That actually took me a while.
No, it's sperm. Like a little spermaid. It's another.
It took you a while, right?
Yes, it
It-
did.
I
this
watched
is-
that movie
I'm
every
so
day
sorry.
with my 4-year-old, and that took me a while.
Can I hear a little more?
You know what?
What does it look like?
What does it look like?
Specifically.
It looks like Ariel,
Right. Red
Except
hair.
her tail
Is a
is a
sperm.
sperm's tail. It's not a fish's
Do
tail.
you know what was fucking me up? I was going the other way.
Interesting.
So the face
Interesting.
was a
the
little sperm with a little mermaid tail.
I get it. I get
I
it.
actually would argue that's a better visual.
Yeah.
Guys, well, you know what? We'll throw it to you, the audience.
Yeah.
Draw up mock-ups of what you think the Little Spermaid should be,
Yeah.
and send them directly to. What's your Twitter, St. Clair?
stclair.jessica.
Great.
Or something like that. I don't know. Guys, I don't even know how to check it. No joke.
These are 5-star reviews from Amazon. Starts off a little confrontational here. This was written September 4th, 2000, and it's referencing a VHS purchase of Superman 4. And out of the gate, starts like this. First of all, to that guy from Sacramento, California, it doesn't look like you've seen Superman 4 because there's no person named Lucy in it. I've watched it 1,000,000 times over and over, and there is no Lucy. Secondly, you don't make any sense when you say they used unused footage from the earlier film in Superman. In the Reeves and Hackman scenes, they look the same. So don't make statements you haven't researched. Lois is known to open up to Clark about Superman. Don't you know? 5 stars. Clearly, the dude from Sacramento, California, got Lacey and Lucy confused. That was the confusion. This is one of my favorite ones. Also on a VHS tape. This was written in June 7th, 1999. I know most of you don't like this movie. I cannot change that. I just turned 10. And I have watched this movie at least 4 times with all of my friends. Zev, Andrew, Vic, and Billy.
Okay, we get
And
it.
they all
You've
love
got
this movie.
friends.
And it's not just us, the children. We know who this movie was made for. Sure, discount it for your so-called cheesy special effects, but the kids, we don't care. The movie has a comic book storyline, a good one to be exact. And Christopher Reeve, Margot Kidder, Mark Pello, and John Cryer and Gene Hackman are a great cast, although you may not think my opinion counts, but I hope it does to some of you. 5 stars.
I would love it if that 10-year-old kid was now like, what, 20, 30?
Yep.
When
Yeah.
was this?
28.
28.
And in this
and
audience.
was in this audience. So we could beat the shit out of him.
And then this one, I will say when I read this one, I thought, oh, this person's being facetious, but then I...
You know what? Because it's like beating the shit out of a 10-year-old, but not.
Oh, yeah, because he's 28 now.
Because he's getting a beating he deserves for the 10-year-old, but he's an adult who can take it. Cut to the guy is like, I'm here. Come get me. It's big like Nuclear Man.
I thought this one was facetious, but I kind of went down a wormhole, and I found that it is not. It's written by Film Aficionado in 2005, and it is titled Much Better Than the First 3 Superman films. Well, some 14-year-old children apparently think this movie is a flop. Think they know the meaning of movies. The meaning of movies. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That 14-year-old brat doesn't even know the meaning of acne cream that he has to smear all over his gangly adolescent face. Any mature adult with half a brain knows Superman 4 is a fine superhero film. Better than the Batman, the X-Men, and Spider-Man franchises, Mariel Hemingway is incredible. The special effects are years ahead of their time, and Nuclear Man is the greatest. The clincher, John Cryer. Need I say more? 5 stars! 5 stars!
Like, honestly, the 10-year-old kid's review is much better. Yeah, and by the way, he ends, need I say more? Yes.
Yeah.
You need say more.
Just to give you some how did this get made knowledge here, the original, the director of this movie was Sidney Furie, who directed The Jazz Singer, which is a movie that we also did in this podcast.
Wow.
He was fired after 48 hours of shooting The Jazz Singer.
Whoa, what happened in those 48 hours?
Of Jazz Singer.
Yeah, he shot 48 hours of jazz.
Got it.
He shot, not 48 hours,
Wait,
like 2
he
days.
shot the movie 48 hours during the movie
Jazz Singer. And they're like, you need to
I
come
would
to
fire
work
him
on
too.
Jazz
He's
Singer.
double booked himself.
Hey, you're not, we gotta fire you. You're shooting a whole other movie.
Right.
No, this director, Sidney Furie, literally shot 48 hours of unusable footage for The Jazz Singer and then was fired and replaced by another director.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Was that footage used in the movie? Yes. Because it was awful. No, I'm just kidding.
Then this movie, so in this year, the biggest movies were Three Men and a Baby, Fatal Attraction, and Beverly Hills Cop 2. This movie came in 69th of the top grossed movies.
69!
And it was beaten by other How Did This Get Made movies like The Running Man, Jaws 4, Masters of the Universe, and Over the Top. And the only one that it beat was the Garbage Pail Kids movie.
Oh, God.
And finally, I just want to say that...
By the way, St. Clair.
No.
Gotta see that movie.
No. You know I can't even.
The tagline of this movie, it was nuclear power. In the best hands, it's dangerous. In the hands of Lex Luthor, it's evil. This is Superman's greatest battle, and it is for all of us.
That's too long.
That's way too long of a tagline.
Paragraph too long.
But there is finally one thought that we need to hear. Somebody from far away has recorded her thoughts about this movie.
Yes!
And
I miss her so much.
and here we go.
Hello, New York City. I'm so sad to be here in Montreal and not there with you guys discussing Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. Guys, don't worry about this hat. You may have questions. I don't have any good answers there. But I do want to, Paul asked me to talk about Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, and take a stab. I haven't seen the movie. Won't see the movie. Will not ever watch this film. But that said, I mean, I don't watch any of them unless I'm doing the podcast, obviously. That said, I will take a stab at what this movie might be about. The plot to me is probably about Superman trying to stop nuclear destruction and Lex Luthor somehow bringing the world to the brink. I do find it odd, though, it's called The Quest for Peace, like as though that distinguishes it from any other Superman movie. They're all a quest for peace, ultimately. I will say, though, the only thing I will add is that I love Christopher Reeve, and I appreciate him, and I miss him. And I think the love that he and Dana Reeve shared is a love I've never known. No offense at all. And the fact that she died so soon after him seems meaningful and great. I don't think she could be here without him. So that's my only thought, really. And have a great night, you guys. Have fun. I wish I was there. I love you all.
All right. Final word from June. So obviously we talk about these movies. We want to know, would you recommend this movie for the purpose of what we're doing here, enjoying them on a bad movie level? Jason.
Well, I'm curious how many people here watched this in preparation. Yeah, pretty worth it. This is a pretty fun one, you know. It's a little long, you know.
At 90 minutes.
It's a little long, but I could have, I could have taken a little bit less of it. But very fun, like really corny and silly. There's a lot of good, I enjoyed it. Yes, I would recommend it.
Jessica.
I would as well, because it doesn't have to do with the post-apocalyptic future, which really does make me sick.
Wait, what? Any movie
a lot of the movies you guys make me watch have to do with Pluto Nash, this is what the future's gonna be like, and we all wear blazers, and that makes me feel sick.
But what
Free Jack, that's coming up, made me really sick.
How do you feel
This
about
doesn't.
how do you feel about Hunger Games? Does Hunger Games make
No,
you
I
upset?
can't. Yes, I
That's
haven't
a
seen it.
post-apocalyptic You haven't seen the Hunger
All
Games?
I know is what's her face is in that clown makeup. You know.
Oh, Liz Banks?
Yeah, and that they're shooting each other for food, and I don't want to see it.
You don't.
Lennon told me the plot of that one and the girl with the dragon tattoo, and I didn't get past.
Yeah, I
she
don't
was
think you-
awarded the state.
I don't think you should watch
And I
that.
said, I can't. What are you telling me?
I don't think you should watch that.
So this one didn't scare me, and that's why I liked it.
So that's your measurement for liking a
Yep.
film or not, is whether it
Yeah.
scared you.
Yep.
All right, so
It didn't scare me, and it didn't make me feel sick. 5 stars.
Natasha. You obviously went down a rabbit hole with this one.
Yeah, I would recommend the first 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
Until you realize that he's not Spider-Man, then you turn it off.
It's not even that so much. I just feel like after that, it's excessive. The first 20.
By the way, I'm into a 20-minute movie. Let's
You
make
would-
more 20 minutes.
You would have preferred it to be an episode of television.
Yeah, but this is also my preference with karaoke, and this is a great idea,
I
so
have
don't
this-
steal it.
I have maybe a similar idea.
Which is, I think it should only be the first verse, chorus, you're done.
I'm a 90-second karaoke guy. I'm like, I think that's what all karaoke
That's
should
a
be.
big idea.
90 seconds.
I'm
it would
giving
be the
it
best.
for free tonight. I'm
feel-
crazy, Eddie.
business.
I feel similar. Less singing during karaoke, the better. So much so that I would abolish karaoke.
There we go.
Guess what I don't want to hear? All you fucks singing in a bar I'm in.
So I'm basically
90
saying
seconds.
just the hits. Just
90
the
seconds will
hits
work.
of this one.
All right. So I would also recommend it. Let's go down the plug line here. Natasha, what do you want to plug?
I don't want to plug.
Okay, great. Jessica, you want to plug anything?
No.
Okay.
Oh, I don't.
Jason?
No. I'll plug.
Oh.
I'll plug. Netflix. What
Great.
a place.
What a place. Amazing place.
I fucking love it.
Great place. Great
It's
shows.
Great. Great
Amazing
shows, great people. Orange is the New Black, a wonderful show we make.
Yeah, and
I
that is
love
coming
that
back
show.
season 6.
Natasha.
I'm shooting it now. It's a great
Natasha,
show.
what channel is Netflix? Which is a question my parents ask.
Asking you.
What channel is it?
Yeah.
Google. I do want to plug that Womp It Up is
Yes.
coming back
Very excited.
November 25th. And Gutter Balls will be back, and things get really intense. We look at his commitment issues, and we make
we
some
get into it.
strides.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Be very exciting. I will, Jason, what do you want to plug?
Oh, I'll continue to plug Big Mouth. The
best.
The
Netflix?
fantastic,
No, I'm just kidding.
the fantastic animated show on Netflix. That's got a whole bunch of people that you love from comedy, as well as animated dicks. So,
Not
and
bad.
animated vaginas. So it's pretty great. It's a really funny show about kids going through puberty.
Congratulations, such a great show.
I will, I mean, this is a long-term plug, but I'll plug The Disaster Artist, which is coming out.
That looks so good.
Yeah, Jason, myself, and June are all in it with a bunch of amazing people. James Franco plays Tommy Wiseau. Dave Franco plays Greg Sestero. It's really good. All right, thank you, New York. We're going to post these pictures.
That's the show, but it doesn't end here. Listen to our mini episode where the discussion about this movie continues. You can give us a call at 619-PAUL-ASK. That's 619-PAUL-ASK. I will answer all your questions about this movie or even about your life. Also, if you like How Did This Get Made and you want to wear it or put it as a sticker or have it as a cell phone case, head over to tpublic/stores/HDTGM, tpublic.com/stores/HDTGM, and you can check out all of our amazing merch like Put Her in a Bra or the Jason Zardoz shirt, which I particularly love. A big thanks to Kelly Alto, Avril Halley, July Diaz, Nate Kiley, and Leanna Waldron, all who come together and put this show and help me do the show every single week. But more importantly, everybody here at Earwolf, their amazing engineering team that puts together this episode, makes it sound absolutely flawless. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. I'm not going to explain where. You can figure it out, but it's pretty much HDTGM. See you next week. Bye for now.